Hi, this is Chris Meyers. I'm with the IC Squared Institute. I'm responsible for international business development and helping to accelerate and incubate young companies from other parts of the world looking for market access into the United States. The common mistake that many young companies that have a disruptive technology can make with marketing and selling to the marketplace is attempting to be all things to all people and not getting focused in on how to profile and market to innovators in the marketplace, people that would be the first users and early adopters of their product to prove that there is market viability and interest in the product itself. Many times they try to take a shotgun approach to the market and try to cast a really broad net instead of a very narrow niche, and then they run out of time, they run out of money, and they get nowhere in launching their business and being successful in the marketplace. By taking a different approach and spending a lot of time on narrowing their focus into a particular niche in a particular market segment and profiling the innovators in the marketplace, the people who can start to help create the validation of the product and the buzz that might go on around it in order to help influence the early adopters and the early majority in the market beyond their innovator capacity. What you end up being able to do is assure that you may get market traction. You're going to get a group of folks who embrace your product. They get to participate actively in helping to refine the features and the benefits and the value statements around your actual product, and they get to help prove or disprove whether somebody will actually care about this breakthrough innovation. And how do you really do that? Well, what you really try to do is focus in on the profile of an innovator. And an innovator is somebody who is generally working in a technical capacity at a large company or at a mid-market company. They might work in their innovation lab or their skunk works, or they have some sort of a technical capacity. Maybe they're a technology scout for the company. They spend a lot of time in user groups, forums, trade shows. They work at maybe industry consortiums or standard committees. So you end up finding these people in kind of niche places where they have like-minded, technically deep, qualified people, and you want to create relationships with them. And whether you do that through social media or meeting them at these activities or trying to convince them to try your product out. The wonderful thing about the innovators is that when you actually engage with them, they are a lot more forgiving about the things that are incomplete about the product. They actually really like to make contributions to refining the features, the benefits, the value, and they are also very good about giving you candid and very raw feedback as to whether they really like it or there's 15 other things out there just like your product, and trying to and they enjoy being involved in the refinement process as well. The other piece of it is they also like to be the guys, they're gadget guys and gals who like to have first access to the product. So they love to try prototypes. When can I get it? Am I the first to get it? They like to have this sort of that secret, handshake to be able to get the product early, mess around with it. They actually don't really care if it is fully developed and it fully works, because in fact they love to tinker around with things, and they like to have you hopefully take their ideas and refine your own product, and especially if it's really a good idea, right? In some cases, it might be a little off the beaten path, but what you really want to do is take that feedback, take it to your group, and determine whether the rest of the market itself would really find that green button versus that red button really important to the whole user experience. So one of the things they like to have is they really want validation that you're really the technical expert in this area, right? They don't really want to be talking to the salesperson or the business development person who may not have every bit of the technical rigor around the product itself. So they really want access to, again, the inventor, the person who came up with the innovation, or the engineering lead on the project and people like that. So where do you find these people? Well, you find them in trade shows. A lot of times they're bloggers. They make big contributions. You end up sometimes finding them on YouTube or SlideShare, where they've actually put together their own presentations for a standards group and things like that. And also tech meetups in your local or regional area. And when you go to the tech meetups, you're going to want to look at meetup.com and figure out by user group or product types or whatever, where you can find these groups of like-minded people who are there talking about new things and ideas, or they're creating products or whatever they might be doing. That can be really good groups to find, again, these innovators and early adopters in the marketplace that'll help validate or invalidate your idea, help you refine it, and give you a lot of great feedback early. Some of the books that are really good to read on this type of activity are Crossing the Chasm by Jeffrey Moore. It's got some great chapters on it that really talk about the diffusion of innovations, how you market and sell into the disruptive innovation in particular, how you package that and sell it into the innovators and the early adopters. The other book that I find really valuable is by Rosen, called The Anatomy of Buzz, which is around creating this kind of buzz around your product. And how do you really do that? What words do you use? Where do you put them? Who do you say them to? What kind of PR and advertising, or in this world, what kind of social media do you really leverage? Do you leverage Facebook or LinkedIn, or how do you do tweets to try to drive interest? How maybe do you get an article posted or an interest off of TechCrunch, for example, and things like that. And then lastly, there's a book called Positional Selling by Jack Carew. And in positional selling, what's really exciting about that book is that for those people that really are on a limited budget, and most entrepreneurs are using their own money, friends and family money, some angel money, the critical asset there is your time and your money. You really are in a limited resource, and so to try to cast too big of a net to too many people, frankly, most companies that do this run out of time, run out of money, and then have to go back to work for the man and somebody else. So in the end, what you really want to do is get very focused in on, and what positional selling talks about is how to get very focused in on profiling your preferred customer or your ideal customer, and how to spend time on them and only them when you go to the marketplace. And again, it's much easier to profile an innovator in the marketplace and spend your time and all your effort on getting to them, because without them, it's very likely that you won't get to the rest of the marketplace without convincing the innovators in the marketplace to embrace and adopt your product. Now, why are they important? The last real point here is that they're really important because they create their own community of interest on your behalf. They start talking to each other, and they create a reference community that will talk about your product and offer word of mouth references, testimonials to the whole rest of the market to help validate that everybody else in the market can trust you, and they can believe in you, and they can sell because they've already vetted you and proven that you have something worthy of everybody else being interested in what you have to offer. And so in the end, that's why it's important to think about spending time and effort on how you would approach and market to innovators in the marketplace with disruptive technologies, instead of attempting to be all things to all people in the market.